On today's Domain Sherpa discussion, is .org in decline or is it still a strong investment? Should you be worried about a ceiling value on your .orgs that you own now or maybe thinking about buying? How do you get pre-orders even when rejected at a certain registrar? What domains Howe has in his shopping cart right now but is not committed to buying in the .credit card TLD? Francois Carrillo of domaining.com launches bitcoin.com with a K. What do the Sherpas think about that domain name? All this and much more on today's show. Stay tuned. I have 3 sponsor messages before we get into today's show. First, if you have a great domain name and nothing to show when people visit, you're missing out on potential advertising revenue, leads, and partnership opportunities. NicheWebsites.com can build you a site quickly with a price option to suit any need. But as their tagline says, they don't just build websites, they build businesses. NicheWebsites.com. Second, if you're buying or selling a domain name or portfolio and you want an estimate of its value, Estimate.com is the place to go. Just like you'd visit Zillow.com to get an estimate of a house value, Estimate.com provides key information about the most important statistics so you can make an informed decision based on data. Finally, whether you're buying, selling, brokering, or financing a domain name, you need an escrow company that's properly licensed, bonded, insured, and audited. That company is escrow.com, and they've been doing it since 1999. Escrow.com. It's about trust. Hey everyone, my name is Michael Cyger. I'm the publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Domain Sherpa Discussion. If there's news in the domain name industry that you should know about, this is the show to watch. And we don't just give you the news, we give you analysis so you can figure out how it affects your domain name strategy and tactics. That's what the Domain Sherpa Discussion is about. We're joined by 4 domain name Sherpas this week. From left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of dnforum.com and nichewebsites.com, the company that will help you build, rank, and update your business website. Michael Berkens, publisher of thedomains.com, co-founder of the Right of the Doc consultancy, and founder of the domain marketplace mostwanteddomains.com. Paige Howe, founder of the domain marketplace domainoutlet.com, and the service domaintipsheet.com, where you can find great hand-selected domain names at reg fee pricing. And Rick Schwartz, the domain king and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Industry Conference taking place this October in beautiful Miami Beach, Florida. Sign up at targetedtraffic.com. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's show.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
All right, so I apologize for last week. A lot of people have posted comments. I screwed up. I didn't record your channel in my whole setup here. That has been rectified this week. My apologies go out to everybody that actually listened to the show. Tim McKean, my AV producer who's listed on the About page, is a godsend. He saved both shows that were recorded last week. Thank you, Tim. And if anybody needs contract work AV, Tim is the guy to go to. So his contact information is over there. All right, first up this week. 3 weeks ago, Palm Beach asked a question about new versus old TLDs as they related to search engine organic rankings. Would wine.club rank better than wineclub.com in organic search results in the search engines, all other factors being equal? Adam Dicker, our resident SEO Sherpa, said, I will run a test. I'll report back. So, we've asked you the past couple of weeks, Adam. Last week, you got a little ornery with me. You said you didn't want to report on the information, even though you had it.
Yeah, I think.
How are we looking this week?
I think this week's going to be a little bit more educated on my side. So I talked to a few people at 3 different search engines to make sure that my results weren't skewed. And as it turns out, they were, and they gave me some tips. So I deleted those 2 domains, and I'm starting with 2 more tomorrow. And they said it only takes a week. So we'll be able to report accurately next week, but at least now I know the data is not skewed. And basically what it boils down to is I can't penalize the COM for the GTLD. So in other words, I can't pick like AdamsTomatoGrowersClub.com and pick a crappy .com. I should be picking something more general so that the COM can benefit from the advantage that it has normally, which is the type-in traffic. So I have to redo the test, and full results and data will be available next week, and I will give you the domains tomorrow morning or tonight.
But if we look at type-in traffic as well, any domain name that can be registered today, 99.9999% of them aren't going to have any type-in traffic. So why does it matter that, they have type-in traffic?
Well, it could matter, and that's the thing. They don't want me to skew any of the data. They want me to make sure that it's accurate, and to do that, I can't make up a 3 or 4 word random domain. So we'll have full results next week. I've been educated by the search engines on what I should and shouldn't do to make sure the test is 100% equal, and I'll list those things as well when we talk next week.
Cool. Hey, can I ask you another question, or are you going to get angry?
I'm not. I just got back from anger management. I've got my DomainSherpa mug with coffee. I'm relaxed. I can't get angry.
Glug, 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 glug. Hey, so what search engines?
I'm really drinking, though.
You're drinking already. What search engines did you contact?
Yahoo, Google, and Bing.
Doesn't you...
Heard of those guys?
I haven't heard of 2 of them. Doesn't Yahoo actually use Bing's search results?
They do, but they still have different people in it that deal with different parts of the channel. So you can still get 2 different opinions from 2 people that work at the same company.
Definitely.
Kind of like here, you get 4 different opinions from 4 different Sherpas, even though we're all domains.
Yeah, sometimes we get 6 different opinions. All right, we're going to revisit it next week.
Next week will be the final results, and we're done.
Somebody will be voted off the show. All right, next up, we have a reader question from the audience. Brian Parker wrote, quote, Michael, great program on .NET and new TLDs. However, what might the Sherpas say about .org? Worth 10% of .com? Is there a future for this TLD, or is it in decline? What do you Sherpas think? Is .org in decline?
Yes, you should sell all your .orgs to me.
All right, facetious Page Howe says yes, but Rick was nodding his head no. Let's go over to you.
If you have a domain that matches the .org, then it's worthwhile. So if you have something like cancerresearch.org or any other informational site or any other group, it could be even dogwalkers.org, it could be any group or any meetup even, because all those meetups are out there, then it makes sense, and it'll probably do well. But you can't pick stupid things that don't make any sense. I just don't think something like, cheapsardines.org is going to be a great .org, and it's not going to index well. I think if you pick what would typically be an organization, a club, a group, a meetup, something like that, it's still definitely a good TLD, but it's not near as good as COM, and probably not as good as net either, but it gets closer when it's targeting what it should be.
So you just gave a lot of examples of not-for-profit type organizations. Is that what you think .orgs are best for?
Yeah, I think that's what it was meant to be, and I think that's what it's probably best for. That's not to say you can't build a site with good content on cheap sardines
and make it
and make money with it. I just don't think it's the right fit for that one.
Okay. Mike Berkens, do you agree with Adam?
Well, I mean, Adam's example of the .org name was never, it's not a good name even in the .com name. So I think, .orgs, I don't think are on decline. Certainly the numbers of registrations aren't declining. .net is slightly declining, but .org actually is still slightly increasing. So, and of the old TLDs, it's I think the only one besides COM has increased since the new GTLD started. So I still actually like org domains, and my opinion hasn't changed on them because of the new GTLDs.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see even if you see the numbers decline on org, I think the 2 groups that it's probably losing are the people that were with Network Solutions 15 years ago that got the COM and they said get the net and the org too, and they did. And then the keyword people from 05 to 09, where if it was luxury twin bedded thread count sheets, and they went and got the net and the org because it had the high long tail search word, I think you'll see those 2 groups kind of fade away, because once you make the decision to protect net and org, that was easy. But now that you have 1,200 new TLDs, I think some people might just decide more over than not. I'm just keep in mind. So I think even if you see the numbers decline from those 2 groups, maybe the numbers of real active websites using org, which is kind of the real TLD, I think you'll see increase. It seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, so definitely decreasing in defensive registrations when, 1,400 are out and you can't fight all of them anymore. So people are saying, I'm going to give up the .org as a defensive play, which was a great strategy 5 years ago, but not today. And they're going to migrate more towards real not-for-profits like cancer.org or groups like, pinochle.org, who, for people that just want to get together and want a website to organize around.
There are a couple of new GTLDs too, just for nonprofits, and .ngo, and there's a couple of other ones I think. There's, so there's the Debt Charity that's coming out. So some of those new GTLDs may.
Well, and .club, of course, as well. I think a lot of groups will use .org, and because they don't want a for-profit, and they may or may not switch over to .club. Rick, you nodded your head no right from the beginning. You don't think .orgs are in decline, are going to decline, even with all the new TLDs coming out?
No, I think they'll probably be reinforced. I've always said, as far as .com, .net, .org, .org was number 2 as far as my registrations. If a .net was available and a .org was available, I would probably opt to the .org more than the .net, because the .org always had, like Adam was saying, if it's connected to the right organization, it has an identity, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Now, the only problem with .org is it isn't about 10% or 1% of a .com. It's really, there's a ceiling on .org because you're dealing with a lot of nonprofits. And nonprofits, even if they make millions of dollars, think they should get everything for free. So it isn't like you can, the .orgs have a ceiling on value. They are valuable, but there's a ceiling on them. I don't see that ceiling on a .net like I do with .org. So that's the little asterisk I would put on .org. I think they're solid, but they're not six-figure domains for the most part. It's a real tough sell to get almost anything for a .org. They're just, commercially, it's a tough battle to fight.
So what do you think the ceiling is? 3, 4, and 5 digits for a .org, depending on the market?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we see one sell last week for $45,000 or something like that?
Dolphins?
Was it Dolphins.org?
Dolphin or Dolphins?
One of those two.
So anyway, that's one of the highest .orgs in a long time. I mean, there's very few .orgs, I think, higher than that, and I doubt they go much over $100,000. I mean, you can. I just don't think it's an everyday event, so I do think there's a ceiling.
Yeah. What do the rest of you think about pricing on .org? Can you put a thumb value, a rule of thumb on .org value that it's a certain percentage of .com, or does it not, because every .org, every need has a cap in the .org space? What do you guys think?
Well, I think I would agree with Rick. I mean, in that, generally speaking, if it's a charity or a nonprofit organization that's looking to buy the .org, it's very hard to get a lot of money from the charity for that purpose. So that has a limitation to it. I'm just looking through some of the larger .org sales. Social.org sold for $228,000 back in 2012, and really nothing since, except for last sale. DIY, do it yourself.org sold for $60,000 in 2012 too. So work.org sold for $55,000. So those are some really good domains. I mean, baby.org sold for $63,000. So what is baby.com worth if J&J wanted to sell it? I don't know. I don't think you can relate it in percentage terms.
Yeah.
But I don't think value's changed that much. I mean, I don't think the value's changed with the new GTLD so much.
Okay. All right. Are any of you buying .orgs today?
Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, we are.
So Adam said no. You said definitely you are. Why? Let's look at this. Why are you buying today, Paige?
Well, sometimes we just feel like when we look at expired names or drops that we think people are maybe making big decisions like, let's just let every .org that doesn't earn more than $4 go. And so our feeling is, if there's any list of 3,000 names and we can maybe look at the best 1 or 2, then we're going to look at it. And if we like it and it's better than what we're renewing now in .org, and it's the same percentage we want to have in .org, then we're gonna try to upgrade. And the wholesale market for .org has weakened. So the buy and sell. So say you want to make 100 times your money, you can either make it like Rick said. The top end may not have a bunch of things, but the buying, I think, stuff. There's a lot more supply than demand in .org. So if something gets really attractive, but we really want to feel like we won when we buy something in .org. We really want to feel like we got a really good deal. It was like, not just, okay, I paid market value, we'll see how it works, but it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really glad we got that one or that two.
Do you remember a couple of the last .orgs you've purchased, Paige?
No, I think they were probably one word and they probably ended in S. That's what we've been doing. We've been searching dictionary words where it ends in S. It's a group of people. Mm-hmm. So, but I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
I don't know.
And Adam, you shook your head. You're definitely not buying .orgs. You see better opportunities elsewhere.
Well, look, I see the .org as a good registry. I have a lot of respect for them. I think that with the right left side of the domain name, it's good. But I think that if you go to take it, instead of people are always going to look for the com first, and then they may look at the net of the org. And I think if you're going to start trying to bank on those and make your money off of those, it's like claiming victory because you're a third-place horse in a race. I don't think it's nobody wants to show. Everybody wants to win, and that's just the way I view it. I mean, listen, it's good if it matches what you're doing, but if it's just a random domain name for a business, I don't think many people are going to grab the .org.
Yeah. All right. On a related note, Mike Berkens, you wrote about Holiday.com going up for auction with a press release stating that it could fetch 20 million pounds, or the equivalent of $30 million. Today, you also reported that Dubai.net will be added to that auction, and it could fetch a big sale of over 3 million pounds or $5 million. What do you guys think about that .net, Dubai.net? Is it possible that a .net could fetch $5 million today? No. Okay, Rick is shaking his head no. Adam is shaking his head no. Mike
yes.
Sort of shaking no, but no. And then Paige is saying yes. Why, Paige? Why do you think Dubai.net could garner a $5 million auction bid today?
Because it could. Because we still don't know what these things are worth.
So you're just saying
the public...
It could be
no,
a
what
lottery ticket.
What I'm saying, Michael, someone sits there and says, what can I do with Dubai.net? I can make $1 million a year off Dubai.net. Yes, I'll pay $5 million for it. Now, we want to tell them, oh my gosh, don't you know that you could have got so much better stuff? But not everyone in the world knows about the entire domain name aftermarket and this thing. They're running hundreds of millions of dollars of companies. They don't understand ICANN. They don't understand Sadu. They don't understand any of this. So you go up there and you put something there and someone says, I can make money, and they buy it. And if they did, I mean, look at our domain review show. We look at things and we say, well, what do you think this sold for? And we guess 2,000 or 20,000 or 30, and it's all over the board, high and low, because of the attitude of the buyer and the seller. And we don't have an efficient market, and it can happen. So what's the number you said? 5 million? 3 million?
They're saying it could fetch.
If it did, would they give it back because they said, no, we sold it for too much?
I mean, insurance.net could sell for that kind of money.
You think insurance.net could, because the insurance.com is worth some multiple higher than that.
20 million.
Yeah. And Dubai.com probably isn't worth the same multiple as insurance.
I don't think so.
No. Yeah. I don't think so either. But Paige thinks it could be possible. It all depends on who shows up to the auction, how badly they want it.
There's some good names on that list, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think those people may not be in the scale that they're buying. It's large, but the percentage versus what the downside is, I'm not sure it's any different than me buying, internet.credit card for $500 a year or whatever. Or some of these new PLDs. So
at the end of the day, Holiday probably has a better chance of selling for $30 million then Dubai.net at 5 million.
So
How's
let's
that
talk
one?
about that. So here in the United States, when you say holiday, people are like, yeah, love Martin Luther King Day because I get it off from school or from work. But other places in the world, they actually refer to a holiday as a vacation. So,
Exactly.
if you own vacation.com or travel.com, those would be great domain names. Holiday is referring to people going away on vacation. Is that, I know it's the case in the United Kingdom. Is that the case, in Eastern Europe,
In Canada,
North American country located above the United States.
Yeah, here it's considered you're going away on a holiday. It's definitely a holidays and travel, but it's also a holidays and day off.
I think vacation is the exception to the rule. I think less people around the world say vacation and more people around the world say holiday. In America, we say vacation. I think most of the rest of the world says holiday, or a good percentage.
I think a vacation insinuates you're going somewhere, and a holiday just means you don't have to cook that day.
No, holiday, like in Europe, is mostly they get a 2-week or a 4-week holiday, and they refer it to as their summer holiday.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a trip here. It's going away.
Yeah. So you guys all agree that it could fetch $30 million, holiday.com?
Well, the question to ask, if you want to find out the value of it, the question I would ask is, what does the panel believe the value of vacation.com would be? And then try to extrapolate from there. So what's the value of vacation.com?
I don't know. What do you guys think the value of vacation.com is?
You like vacation or vacations? Better.
Vacation.
Vacation.
So say vacations.com sold for $5.5 million this week. Would you guys say that's high or low? The plural.
A bargain. A bargain. A bargain.
Mike Berkens?
I think it's below.
Yeah. I think it would be an in-between transaction, meaning the bid was the wholesale, low wholesale would be 2 to 3 million, high retail would be 20 million. It would be something that got done in between based upon circumstances. But these guys are trying to top tick the whole thing, right? I mean, they've owned these names forever. They've had a chance to sell them forever. And they're trying to top tick the whole thing. So throw a party, put out a bunch of press, see if you can get it, and you might.
For what it's worth, Holiday, there's a .holiday that has over 5,000 registrations, and there's a .vacations that has about 3,300 registrations. So if that's any indication, Holiday is more popular of a term, if you want to look at that way.
Yeah. But could it be that their timing, and maybe this is something that everybody in the domain name industry that owns an asset might want to consider, is the timing of the market the right time to shoot for later on in this year or early next year? The economy's on an upswing. Indicators are looking stronger. Paige, you and I were talking about this earlier. Could it be the right time to make larger sales like this when the economy is stronger? What do you think, Paige?
Yeah, I think you do it early because, when people are scared it's going to end again. But I think when the financial crisis hit, it affected everybody. And I think people are finally starting to take their hand off the door that they've had one hand on, thinking they may need to run out of it and sell everything and go back to living on a farm. And there's a little bit, it just seems like people are finally able to say things aren't going to go back to that. Interest rates are low. Money is everywhere. All other assets are incredibly, hugely valued or overvalued in terms of S&P at 21 times. I mean, there's no discounts to market value out there anywhere, in my opinion. And then we have these domain names which have variable values. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll see some. Look what's happened to the scarcity values of the 2-letter and the 3-letter and the 3-number. A lot of money after a select few Dow Jones type names, and it seems to push the values up. And it's harder to do with oneword.coms because it isn't like there's a list of what are the official 350 best oneword.coms. And if you're on that list, you're a Dow Jones, thing, and if you're 351, you're not. we still don't really know, how many oneword.coms are out there. I mean, are there 2,000 ultra premium oneword.coms, or are there 10,000? And I don't know if we know.
Do you guys agree?
Well, I guess ultra premium is a name that would sell for how much, Paige?
Let's say over 1 million.
Over 1 million. So 676 two-letter.coms, right?
Yeah.
You don't have any available. And there's, likewise, I don't know. I would say it's probably over 10.
You think of some of the reserve list, right, Mike? You try to think of how big are the reserve list? Because you figure the same list that you'd reserve if you were a registry operator would be similar to the ultra premium, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. Yeah, a lot of those lists are names that are just somewhat anywhere from really super the best of the best to just better than registration cost kind of names.
Yeah.
So most of the names on the reserve list doesn't mean they think it's worth $100,000 or more. So they just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they equate.
I think if Frank taking the affiliated company that bought the links, whatever that is, pick 20,000 of them or something. So, but we don't know. We don't know how many great one words there are. When you start adding up adjectives, vowels, power words, geos, product names, whatever else is there, industry names, job names. You start adding them up, and it starts getting bigger and bigger.
It's probably more than half of the GTLD guys combined right now, to be honest with you.
All right, next up, let's talk about domain name registration issues. Mike Berkens, you had the same issue with Unity Registry that you've had in the past. What was the issue that you faced today on the launch of the new GTLDs?
Yeah, I received an email from somebody who had an issue too. Still can't, I'm still not sure how much of it's the registry's problem and how much of the registrar's problems. And I don't know if we're going to be able to tell that for a while yet.
Yeah.
So I got an email from one of the registrars I used last night, Enam, and last night, telling me that there's about 15 domains I applied for today that I was not awarded. So I assume that all those names wound up being on the reserve list, but that's not the case because some of them I registered at other registrars today. So I don't understand why Enam would send out an email the night before my screen goes live telling me they didn't get names. It doesn't make sense to me because it was just a few hours earlier that I put the names in.
So Enam has a process that says if it's on a certain list, they're just going to reject them. But what was that list? Was it a registry reserve list, or was it a trademark list, or? It
was trademark.
Well, some of those names got registered by myself or a few other registrars or by other people. So some of them were reserved, but some of them weren't. So I have no idea where they came up with that list. And I don't know why it takes until after you put your money in, although you get your money back. I don't understand the process.
Yeah.
Of how
so you did a Whois lookup at someplace, and you said this new TLD with the domain name that I want, the second level domain I want, is available. It doesn't show registered by the registry.
Well, I didn't do a Whois lookup, but the registrar is supposed to do that. It's supposed to come back with either available or taken or reserved or not available.
Gotcha. So you just input your list at Enam, for example. They took them all, but then they emailed you back the night before and said, these are going to be rejected.
Right.
But then you did the exact same thing at another registrar, and they took it, and they actually registered the domain names for you.
Correct. Right.
I guess my frustration with all the registrars especially is the reason the processes aren't working is we're just too busy with all this stuff, and they're starting top down and they're ranking some stuff important and some stuff not. So it's just kind of like, well, the thing you're interested in, it wasn't that we tried to fix it and couldn't fix it. It's like, well, that's just, you take what you can get. And it's that laissez-faire. We can't fix it because we don't have the manpower, or it's a new system. So just that's the best you can get, and go register what you're still willing to register, please.
Right.
And that's just hard to hear.
And I guess the takeaway is, if you quick break from 3 sponsors of today's show. First, are you tired of being upsold and cross-sold when you buy or renew a domain? Then try the newest registrar being built from the ground up with a beautiful interface, competitive pricing, and 24/7 support. Uniregistry.com will surprise and delight you. The right domain can change your life. Uniregistry.com. Second, investing in Chinese domains is crazy hard without expert native language advice. Now, as a service to the Western domainer community, TLD Registry offers ChineseLandRush.com. Using ChineseLandRush.com will help you invest in Chinese domains with confidence and without knowing a word of Chinese. Finally, MediaOptions is a boutique domain brokerage firm that gets results. They've specialized in helping companies acquire and sell high-value domain names since 2005, with a client list ranging from funded startups to Fortune 500 corporations. Visit MediaOptions.com to learn more. And I guess the takeaway is, if you want the domain names in that new TLD bad enough, go pre-register them at multiple registrars. Is that the takeaway, Mike?
I mean, it depends on how the registry is going to allocate the domain. So, if it's a Donuts or Right Side registry-backed extension, then you don't have to register to multiple registrars. If you really want the name, you can go into one of the EAPs and pay more and get it.
Sure.
If you don't want to do that, then yeah, you have to go and do it at multiple registrars. But that doesn't really make sense, actually, because if you want to do that, then once you hit 3 registrars, you could have just gotten the name on day 5.
Well, but EAP costs you more and you never get that back. If you register it at multiple registrars for pre-registration, aren't you refunded the money if they don't grab it for you?
You are, but you're still tying up your money.
You're still tying up your money for some number of days until they refund it back.
Right. This is something that's been around since .com, and I'd use 2, 3, 4 different registrars, and I go around and I register the exact same domain name. The first guy would say taken, the second guy would say taken, the third guy registered it for me, and maybe 2 of them would register it for me, and one of them I'd end up getting it. I mean, there was no rhyme or reason. So this is something that's been happening for a really long time, but now I think you can, there's a lot more going on than was then.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. But it's not easy. And 101 Domain also had orders placed with them for domains that seem to be reserved. So some other domainer wrote to me overnight and was frustrated that a lot of his pre-orders were rejected as well. So it could be 101 domains not loading, the reserve lists in properly, or maybe they're updated, they're not getting the updates, or maybe names are getting added late to the reserve list, although the registry says that's not happening, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully that will help out somebody that's also experiencing this issue and can't figure out why their pre-registrations are getting rejected. Let's talk about the new dots this week, entering general availability. So these are the domains not during the early EAP process where you pay more. This is general availability. This is, retail pricing. They're out to the public. They include .audio, .gratis, .hiphop, .claims, .creditcard, .credit, .juegos, which is games in Spanish, and .cologne. I believe spelled 2 ways. So let's start by talking about Cologne. It's Germany's 4th largest city, and I guess the registry .cologne.de wants to cover all their bases, providing both a German spelling .koeln and an English spelling COLOGNE for the remainder of the world. Mike Berkens, do I understand that correctly? Did the same registry offer both TLDs today?
I hadn't followed, to be honest.
Does anybody know?
I'm not following German cities.
And to be honest, I spent about 5 minutes before the show trying to figure out who's offering. It looks to me like the same registry is offering both these, and I can't figure out why they would launch both of them. Does anybody know?
Well, if you get one, you get the other?
You do not. They're separate.
That seems to be the only way it would make sense, is if they really thought there was confusion, then they should say, if you get one, then you get the other. Because that whole umla or whatever, is it an O or is it an OE in English? Like sometimes you'll see Cologne is KOLN, and it's whether the O is the OE, and so I just stayed away.
Yeah, I don't know. I spent a few minutes on their website trying to figure it out, and I couldn't find a clear statement on why they were offering both TLDs. The only thing that I saw was the Cologne, COLOGNE, they said was offering it English spelling for the remainder of the world is, I believe, that the text that they used.
It's the same company running both registries.
Yeah. So is that
through?
Let's take it up a level. Is that smart for a geo TLD operator to offer both the German spelling and the German in English characters, I guess, and the English spelling of the domain name? Is that a smart strategy to cover all bases like that?
I mean,
like I think it would be smart if they gave you both.
Yeah.
If I'm limousines or limos.cologne and then I want to be limos.cologne, then but if once I buy one I have to brand it and differentiate it from the other one.
Yeah, it seems like it adds confusion.
I mean, the one with the K has double the amount with the one with the C, and the spelling with the C through Landrush. I mean, and neither had any great numbers, but 535 with the K and 258 with the C.
Yeah. All right. Of the remaining TLDs, Audio Gratis, Hip Hop Claims, Credit Card, Credit, Juegos, what do you guys like? Do any of those stand out as like, yeah, that could be a good one?
Well, I mean, I think Credit and Credit Card are good, but we have the typical situation where some of the best names are either on a collision list, so they're not available, or they're priced substantially pretty high. So it's not that there's not good names. I think in some of these strings, it's just expensive. I mean, they're more for end users, I think.
And for the viewers who haven't checked, I mean, Credit is $90 to $95 a year, and Credit Card is $100 to $130, $140 a year, every year, for any name, not just premium, but... Yeah.
The general retail price at GoDaddy I saw was $91 and $140.
So I've got like 4 in my cart right now, and I just can't seem to pull the trigger. It's just too much. Because if you look at the present value of money, that's $100 a year for the next 10 years, so I'm out $1,000 already. So it's like I have to tax a domain name that's already 1% of 1% of .com or something like that, and then further, it's got to be even 1,000% better for the fact that it's going to cost me more. So I ran a series of .coms with the same keywords, and that's what I was doing before we started, was just kind of looking and going, what would I do, thinking that whatever that decision that I'm making today is what my customer will be making in 2 or 3 years, deciding which way do I want to go, and I just can't seem to pull the trigger.
Hey, Paige, I got a suggestion. Pull up your cart, read off the domains, and then the Sherpas will give you their feedback, whether it's worth it.
Well, I'll decide today then, and they'll be on the show tomorrow. So teen.creditcard at $130 a year.
Teen,
T-E-E-N.
And kids.creditcard at $240 a year.
I think they're both good.
I like the kids one better than the team. Was it team or
teen? T-E-E-N.
As in teenager.
As in my teenagers that want a credit card.
I think they're both good.
You think so, Adam? You think it's worth $140 for 10 years?
Well,
over $1,000.
I don't. The kids' credit card is kind of interesting if you had a business model behind it. That one I could kind of see more than teen, because kids at least incorporates teens also. It's just kids,
Yeah.
And then I look at .com. I can get teenschargecard.com for $9 a year.
Well, so that's a great analysis, right? Like,
so that's the decision, you know. I mean, it's not credit card, it's charge card, so it's not the exact same. But that's kind of what I'm mulling, you know. That's kind of like what Mike Berkens shared earlier this year about real estate. You know, you got a realtor in New York, he can't get this. Is he going to go for second best? And how does it look? But man, having to tell the buyer, you know, like, because I don't think the aftermarkets are ready for these high things where, you know, someone may see it on Sado and say, oh, teen.credit card for, you know, $8,500. But then I'm going to have to tell them later, oh, by the way, it's $130 a year, you know. And that's a big surprise, right? I mean, if you guys saw the name up there and you bought it for, you know, wholesale, you know, $5,000 to $8,000 or something like that, and then you found out it was $130 a year, that would be meaningful, wouldn't it?
Well, I think some of the CCTLDs are, you know, higher price, significantly higher price than .coms. So, I mean, they sell regularly on Sado, and I think you just have to, you know, you have to do your homework and figure out what the renewal, you know, the registration costs are, renewal costs. Harder to, you know, the bigger problem is for the premiums, of course, because that's not readily apparent. Go check out Gold.credit card. Put that in your.
Yeah, $3,500. Yeah.
Yeah, a year.
So my thinking was, if I go with Kids, which is the better name, the premium isn't that much, because normally a name gets a $300 premium and the regular registration is only $30. The fact that the premium's kind of the same, but everything else in the TLD is $90, I was almost rationalizing I'm better off going for the premium because it's really not that much above the regular, so you might as well get the best name that's out there. That's kind of my thinking.
And kidscreditcard.com is taken.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, that's where is it used or? But like,
it's probably been taken since 2002 or something. I mean,
oh yeah.
It's unlikely that, you know, somebody missed that.
But I wonder if you like contacted them, how much would they sell it for?
Yeah.
It's listed for sale for $24,500.
But I don't want to buy what someone else owns. I only want to buy what I thought of.
So it's listed for sale for $24,500, which means you might be able to negotiate it down to what? $12,000, $10,000, $15,000? So if you buy kidscreditcard.com for $15,000, let's say, and then you have to pay $240 a year for the rest of your life for kids.creditcard, what's the better?
Yeah, I'm out, because that means I can never ask $25,000 for kids.creditcard, because they can just go buy kidscreditcard.com.
You can get kids.credit for $90 or less.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've helped you at all here, Paige.
Well, no, I mean, that's where the market is. I mean, we want to find places where the market is severely undervalued or overvalued, but when you find that it's just where it should be, then that's when you have to say, that's when emotion comes in, right, Rick Schwartz? When it's fairly valued, then you have to decide if you want it.
There's another thing to consider, too, and that's where the .com would probably be easier to flip if you decided to liquidate it at some point, as opposed to, you know, we talk about all the NNN domains, for example, and they're getting 100,000 and 500,000. Well, guess what? My NNN.mobies are getting crap. My NNN.co's are getting crap. They're worth. There is no how much percentage of they're worth. They have no value. No one wants them. I've been trying to sell them for 5 years. There hasn't been an offer. They have no value. What are you going to do? So you get the great keyword, wonderful. It doesn't work. So we get 555.rich, 888.rich. I mean, you know, what are you going to do?
Right.
Hey, don't be picking on .rich. It's only 10 times .credit card now.
And just so you know, that the numbers with the NNNs with CTLDs are selling fairly well.
Yeah, because there's a market for CCTLDs. There's a place for CCTLDs. It's proven themselves with CCTLDs. The other ones haven't proven themselves, and the aftermarket proves that. Because the aftermarket, after we're all said and done, the aftermarket has a say in it, and there ain't much of an aftermarket right now. And so one is a much safer gamble or investment than the other, because one, still has a value on the aftermarket. And one, you got to find someone that thinks exactly like you.
Yeah, but here's the counterpart to that. If I go buy kidscreditcard.com, I spend 17 grand, and I'm in it for 17 grand. If I buy kids.creditcard, I'm in it for 200, and I can just walk after a year. So it's kind of like leasing a car. My upside is maybe 20 times what I pay. If all the new TLDs change the whole future of the internet in the world, and Generation X, Y, and Z never use a computer again, and they only use the new TLDs, and if not, I don't have to sell it. I just walk from it.
Okay,
Whereas
so
.com, you have to actually have a transaction to get out of it.
Right.
So the next thing I would do is ask, is Kids Credit Card a domain that's worth anything? I mean, let me go look at, let me go do a search on Google, Kids Credit Cards, and let's see what pops up.
Just singular, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is a market, okay? So now the thing is, I don't know if they're pulling up the keyword credit cards, and that's all. It doesn't matter what's in front of it, or kids has something to do with it, because this definitely isn't normal. I don't see anything with kids. I just see credit cards. There's no market for kids' credit cards. And first of all, you can't, I don't know. I don't know if I give it any validity whatsoever. And just like you say, that guy's been sitting with the domain since 2002. Visa didn't buy it from him. Bank of America, no one bought it from him.
Yeah,
Adam, what do you think? What should I do?
I searched and I put it in quotes, Rick, kids' credit cards, and the number one result was prepaid card for teens. Real-time
there you
tracking.
Go. Teen credit card. Get that one.
Kidscreditcard.com has an estimated value of $1,600, and it says it's for sale for $24,500.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Mike Cyger was saying.
So,
right.
I don't know. The teen might be a better one. It seemed like it might have more need and some advertisers versus the kids, which is actually a, to your point, Rick, a larger market, but people might be focused more around teens.
Well, I see both listed. The ones that are paid, a paid listing on the right side. I see prepaid. Let's see, the first one. I see kids, prepaid card for kids, free prepaid cards for kids. The first listing I do see is teens on the left side, but I don't know that that's I guess it's a paid listing. It probably is a paid listing.
You can't, when you're looking at the Google results, you can't trust the kids' credit card that's from ask.com or like info.com. They're just buying traffic and sending them over to a
page. I'm looking at Discover Card.
Yep.
SpendSmart Card is buying it. LifeLock is buying it. CreditCards.com, FamZoo.com, AccountNow.com,
right.
CreditCardGuide.com. Here is Ask.com, who has one listing that they bought. ReadyDebitPlatinum.com, Intuit.com, and CityCards.com. So that's who's buying the traffic.
Hey, you should make it easier on you. I decided to take away the risk on you. I just registered them both, so don't worry about it.
But I think to get back to Mike's question, imagine going through all this effort and work and then going to get it and then finding out, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't available, or it was a premium program, we forgot to do it. And I think that's the real world of the TLDs out there, the new TLDs. Is, there's whether to get them. If once you decided you want to get them, which one to get versus the alternatives, and then you hope the system works. And I think that's a realistic picture of what's happening.
While we're on this topic, it'll extend it a little bit, but just out of curiosity, we've been registering these things now for how many months now, Mr. Cyger? These new GTLDs?
Since February.
Yeah, months.
Since February? So no, I mean all the new GTLDs since February. So what's that, 6 months? Has anybody received any offers on any of them?
I received two of my 15 XYZ domains.
Yeah, so I think by the lack of information, but were they reasonable offers or were they low balls?
Wait a second, were they from Daniel? Were they from Daniel? Just kidding, it's just a joke, come on, lighten up, it's just a damn joke.
Post your address, Rick, so they know where to send the lawsuit. So I don't think anybody's gotten any real good offers on these things. I haven't.
Maybe you should have gotten prepaid credit card. Did you look at that one yesterday?
I checked already. It's gone, long gone.
It's done yesterday. I mean, was that premium though? Because that might have been.
I think it went on Sunday morning, the first chance it could on day 5, but I'm not sure.
Well,
It
if it
went
sold yesterday,
yesterday.
it had to be It had to be
Yesterday.
an EAP.
Oh, it went just yesterday, yeah.
Just yesterday. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it was premium, but that might have been a better name
Yeah.
based on the results Rick read off in the
Yeah.
advertising.
So what are you going to do, Paige Howe?
Well, sometimes you make a lot of money by buying something, and sometimes I go to Price Club or Costco and I fill up my cart with a bunch of stuff, and I look at it and I say, I don't need one darn thing in this cart, and I walk straight out the door.
You
So it's
abandoned the
50-50.
cart?
I leave
He's
it.
done that a few times. I think he does the same thing when he goes to a strip club. He
I
thinks
think-
he needs stuff and he just leaves them all there.
I think we should get abandonedcart.com and put Paige Howe on the cover of it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's interesting because the kidscreditcard.com only being a 24/5 definitely changes the ceiling. I have teens, so you can always the domainer. Let's talk about the domainer rationalization. Well, I have teens, so if nothing else, I could barter this to some company to get a credit card for my teens. That's
Exactly.
rationalization number 1, right? I'm going to buy it low enough that I could always sell it to somebody else who watches this show and will want to buy it tomorrow. Rationalization number 3, no one's going to know because it's just between me, my credit card company, and my Gmail account. And I think that's the most, dangerous thing out there is you never have to say your mistakes. You only have to say when you sell it, for a bunch of money.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I truly don't know.
All right, well, we'll
You-
find out
oh,
tomorrow.
I-
Go do a Who Has search on them, and you'll find out if Paige registered them or not. Or maybe Adam did.
Yeah.
We'll find out. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk one of my favorite topics, something to do with legal aspects. Mike Berkens over at The Domains wrote that Pinterest, that website that allows you to pin pictures and then share them with people. I don't know. I don't use it. They won control of pinsex.com. According to the domain holder, you wrote, Mike, the website pinsex.com had approximately 49 million visits since it became operative, whatever that means, with almost 70,000 registered users from all over the world. Pinsex.com was first registered on June 5th, 2008. Pinterest.com was first registered November 26, 2009. A year plus a few months later, Pinterest filed their trademark for the word pin, as in push pin, on August 8th, 2012. Mike, you wrote Pinterest got a U.S. trademark on the term pin in June 2014, but my research shows otherwise. On May 9th, they were served with notice of unresponsive amendment via email, and I don't believe that Pinterest actually owns the trademark for the word pin at the USPTO. So, given that, how the heck did Pinterest win a UDRP against Pinsex when Pinsex.com was registered first and they don't even own a trademark on it? Answer me that. Riddle me that, Batman.
Easy.
Well, there's also, I'm just looking at the trademark issue. So there is actually a trademark on the word pin that was obtained in 2013 by Pin Salon LLC in Lovers Lane, Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, like
So
a hair
that's
salon, right?
Like a hair salon.
Yeah,
Exactly. So they have a trademark.
yeah.
So maybe they should file for Pinsex.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anytime you get a one-member panel, you may as well just be giving your domain name to the third party. That's you know what? The minute I saw that, I stopped reading the article. No kidding.
Huh.
Because that's it. Kiss of death. If you have one member and you're that cheap that you have a business like this, that you won't pony up the money, guess what? You lost the domain. Now you got to go to federal court to try to get it back. It's going to cost you a whole lot of money to get your business back because you didn't have a three-member panel where there's at least some weight and balance and maybe some discussion, and so you deal with the whim of one guy, and now he owns your soul, and that's the stupidest thing. Every time anyone deals with a one-member panel, they get it up the butt, and they deserve to get it up the butt. That's all. They deserve it.
Speaking of which, I should have started this topic by saying not safe for work. Don't visit pinsex.com at work. Sorry for not getting that out earlier.
or pin gay.
Or Pin Gay, which was, and I didn't even have time before the show to look up Pin Gay, which I guess was that the same owner as Pin Sex, Mike? Do you know?
Yeah.
It was. So the same owner lost Pin Sex and Pin Gay.
Had a lot of,
two separate UDRPs, though, wasn't it?
No, it was a single
same
UDRP. And UDRP, and the Pin Gay also had quite, not as much traffic, but quite a bit of traffic and quite a few members. So I don't know. The thing that obviously, I think Rick is obviously right. I mean, you have to go for a 3-member panel. Number one, number two, you have to use an attorney who specializes in UDRPs. Not all attorneys do all things well, just like anything else, right? Just like medical field. If you have cancer, you're not going to go to a dentist. you got to go to somebody who's handled a bunch of these and has a good track record. That would be number two. And then number three, the thing is just, the whole thing is just very frustrating for all of us who follow this stuff. Because, the panelists started talking about the look and feel of the website and compared to Pinterest. And I don't know where that is in the WIPO regs where, a name can be transferred based on look and feel. And it talks about bad faith, bad registration, fair use and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know. It seems like they make the decision sometimes that they want to give a name and then they try to figure out a way around it. Now, the discussion about the trademark was discussed, that was in my post, was discussed in the actual decision. So in the event, that Pinterest doesn't actually own valid U.S. registered trademark on the word pin, then the panelists just took Pinterest's claim, I assume, and I took their word for it, that it was validly filed and had a vet date.
I don't think they ever even asserted that they owned the trademark on the word pin. I just think they were saying pin is part of their trademark on Pinterest.
Well, I'm looking again here quickly.
The one I have in my notes here, the one-member panel of Alfred Meijboom rejected the domain holder's argument that the word pin is a generic term understood in most languages with various meanings, such as, quote, a device used for fastening objects or material together, or to attach or fasten with a pin or pins in a specified position, finding that Pinterest has common law trademark rights, also finding that the site had the look and feel of Pinterest. So this
also said, in his opinion, the complainant is the owner of trademark registration for the mark PIN.
Right.
The IN in the United States as of June 17, 2014.
So he's wrong about that, because I don't think the USPTO is updating their database that often. Well, maybe, I don't know, we're in September. But according to the database today, it's not issued. And I couldn't go back through the TEAS system and see where they had actually registered it and then taken it back. So either, this panel member is just completely incorrect, or I don't know what. But this is the first time that common law trademark has been invoked. Like, it's not a WIPO case to determine if common law is enough to award a domain name in a dispute.
Well, UDRP panels have found common law trademarks before, so they can. It doesn't have to be registered.
I will say, if you copy another site that's named similar to yours, and then you argue that the word pin means something that you push into a wall, and like Rick said, it's only one person, they're going to spread the evidence out on the table, they're going to make a decision against you, and then they're going to write the opinion to support what I'll say the hunch that they came up with was their hunch is this guy's trying to copy this guy. and then they back themselves into it. But if any of that became precedent, that's where the danger is, where the next person then will say, as in the Pinterest versus so-and-so case, it was established that common law terms can have, whatever instantly overnight. And I think that's where I hate to see a decision like this.
Yeah, CMAC wrote a comment on Mike's thedomains.com saying, Pinterest did not create the way pin, as in to pin something, is used. By the logic, even though tube was well-known word associated with TV, YouTube should be able to get the domains of all the porn tubes out there, and Facebook should be able to get all the domains that end in book. It's a slippery slope to say anything that is associated with the number one brand in the marketplace that has portion of their name in it and somehow does something similar to it is stealing their goodwill or brand or trademark. Even if the look and feel is the similar, which is a copyright issue, not a UDRP issue.
Right. And I think that's the thing is, you seem like you have more infringement risk legally than you do can the registrar take away your domain name because of rights that you gave up when you clicked on the button when you paid your money. That's the UDRP.
Yeah. All right. Lesson learned, if you're defending, go for a three-member panel, not a one-member panel. Because hopefully, one rogue opinion will be the lone opinion. All right, last up, Francois Carrillo of domaining.com has launched bitcoin.com for cryptocurrency blogs. It's basically a domaining.com blog for the Bitcoin industry, but it's not at bitcoin.com. It's at bitcoin.com. What do you guys think of the domain name Bitcoin with a K? Is it a better domain than, say, Bitcoin World or bitcoining.com? What do you think?
Well, I think for what he's using it for, it's a really good name. I don't know if you could advertise it as such. You certainly, couldn't advertise it on the radio, but as a place to go and I think it's good. I think it's cool.
You think it's a cool, brandable, memorable domain name? Rick, what do you think?
I think it's good. I think anytime you get into a really crowded niche like that, and you can come away with anything that's anything at all, I think you've done well. And I would say he did well with that. It is brandable. It it is what it is, and it's a crowded field. That's why if you want Bitcoin something, then you start going through the extensions. Okay, the .com is done. Well, if the .org is there, you grab it. If the .net was there, you would grab it. If the .tv was there, you grab it. Whatever was available that's the highest on the food chain where you're not at, that would be the one that I would focus on. So, and without doing that, then it's how do you spell it differently? Maybe I would even go a little bit further and do BYTKOIN and even make it more brandable or do something like that. But I really like Bitcoin with a K. No problem. A lot of people use K in coin, so I think it's fine.
What do you think, Adam?
I think I'm registering BYTKOIN.
There you go.
I think I just took it, so I'm happy with that purchase. No, I think it's a good. I really did take it, by the way. I think it's a good brand. I think he's smart to do it. He's had success in domaining. Bitcoin is probably a pretty big field. I think it's a pretty smart move. And while I was looking for it, I decided I'm also going to register Bitloin so I can sell different sides of beef and things like that. I'm thinking maybe that's a good one. Bitloin, like sirloins, and I don't know. But no, this is how you come up with a good brandable. Power to Rick for coming up with that one. Power to Francois for doing what he's doing. That's how you come up with a good brandable that makes no sense, a little bit of sense, combine it, and people recognize it as a brand, and there you go.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Paige, you like it? Don't like it? Indifferent?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, that's how brandable started, was I can't get the generic, so I'm going to get this. But then as a domain investor, you say, well, then I'm going to invest in the CVCVs because companies that can't get the generic and they can't get the CVCV, then they're going to come to me. But you have to realize you're 3 derivatives off of the best name now. You know what I mean? And the same mindset that made someone look for a brandable as opposed to the generic means they're going to do what Adam just did. They're always going to try to find a different brandable that's better than your brandable. So if you say, yeah, but there is no other brandable as good as mine. I mean, if you're buying for resale, you just have to be careful because people do get creative and come up with a lot of brandables that are...
Well, I mean, for example, we could have a blog against Bitcoin and call it BitCon and tell them why they shouldn't get Bitcoin. I mean, there's lots of things you could do. I mean, there are tons.
Is
But this
Bitcoin
is where
available?
people think out of the box. This is where people think out of the box and they're successful. So power to Francois.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I'm looking to see if Bitcoin is available. No,
So is everybody else, I think. I can
All
see
right,
Rich
gentlemen,
got
that's
that,
this week's
thinking
show.
face.
It may have a
I'm guessing it's taken. It's the name of a
according
conference.
to Wikipedia.
It points to Wikipedia, but it's owned
According to
by
Wikipedia, it looks like
it's owned by Mike Mitterer. Mike Mitterer.
But even Bitcons is available, so it could be multiple cons and scams with Bitcoin. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. I mean, good for you, Francois, for thinking outside the box.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, that's this week's show. Anything you want to promote? Let's start with you, Rick Schwartz. How's the conference going? The conference
the
prep.
price, the prices to traffic go up to $14.95 soon, but we decided this morning we're going to have a special. So any person that attended the 2004 or 2005 traffic, we're going to lock in the $9.95 early bird price until September 30th, while everyone else is paying $14.95. So if you were in Delray Beach in 2004 or you were in Delray Beach in 2005, your ticket price right now till September 30th is $9.95, and I'll probably be making an announcement about it next week.
Hold on, but they have to show their tags. One of them, at least. It's
Oh
gotta
my
be
God!
from that
Find the
show. I
one from
don't know which one.
2004, Adam.
It's got to be here. I'll look while you guys.
You guys don't keep yours?
I got 2008. Keep going. I'll find it. 2014.
All right, Rick. Anything else you want to talk about at the conference? For the conference?
Well, actually, we may be discussing Bitcoin at the conference. I mean, that's a field that I think a lot of domainers are interested in. I think also a lot of domainers are very confused about what Bitcoin is, how they can take advantage of it, why it may or may not be important, and we just follow trends. So I think I think that's a direction is worth taking a look at. What's that?
How about Synccoin?
Yeah.
How about Synccoin?
I had that on the list to discuss today, Mike, but after reading it, I couldn't figure out what the heck it is, so I pulled it off the list. Synccoin, SYNC coin, backed by domain name asset somehow, but it's not really virtual current. I don't get it. But maybe it's something.
It may actually sync. SINK.
But maybe it's something that deserves to be discussed at Traffic in October. Paige Howe,
Yeah.
anything you want to promote?
I'll go with domain tip sheet today. And on the topic we just talked about, we will have in tomorrow's letter the 10 best available brandable Bitcoin names that we can find. And then you get that in your newsletter. And if you register any of them, you pay us a $10 honor fee. So we'll come up with the 10 best brandable Bitcoin-related names that are available for free registration, and we'll throw in some other stuff too. But that's kind of what we do at Domain Tip Sheet is we think, what someone out there might want to buy, let's go hunt and forage and pillage and find what's available, and then we show you a list of them. And if you take any, you send us $10 a name.
All right, is Bitloin going to be on the list?
I cannot confirm or deny the availability of the loin-related brandable.
I'm sure there's got to be some extra loin-related domains. Mike Berkens, anything you want to promote?
Sure. We're working a really good domain over at Rather the Dot. It's photographers.com. Asking price. Well, let's say they're obviously looking for offers in the six figures, which I think is a pretty good buy for a name of that quality. So photographers.com. If you're interested, hit me up.
All right. Great name. Good luck in brokering that. Hope we bring somebody to you there, Mike. Adam Dicker,
The,
anything you
real
want?
quick, the annual fee for that .com name, Michael, if I buy it for hundreds of $1,000s, what's the renewal fee of that one?
It's $8.
There you go.
$8 and change.
Approximately.
Adam Dicker, anything you want to promote?
Yeah, a couple things. So Rick can use my bytkoin.com to promote the Bitcoin at the show. He can have it for free.
Did
and
you
he's
just
welcome to
register it? BYT
I did, yeah.
COIN?
I did. And the other thing is, I did. And the other thing is, last day to get in the DN Forum football pool, NFL, $4,500 in prizes, $100 every week. Get in. It's free. No charge, no scam. Come in. It's big. It's fun. We enjoy it every year. And lastly, there is a new sugar replacement out on the market for those of you that have too much coffee like I do and want to get rid of your sugar. No calories, no carbs, nothing for glycemic, nothing, no artificial ingredients. And there you go. It's called, what the hell is it called?
Sweet Leaf.
Sweet Leaf. Anyway, it's better and no calories, so yay for me.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you for joining this week's discussion. If you're watching the show and you have any questions, please post the comments below. We'll ask them on a future show. Adam Dicker, Michael Berkens, Paige Howe, and Rick Schwartz, thanks for coming on the show and continuing to be domain Sherpas for others. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.